Okay, real talk. Did anybody actually enjoy being a teenager? Because I know that I hated it. But by far the worst year was the year I was 14. I was probably a little bit of your typical bratty 14-year-old, but I was sick the whole year, and we couldn't figure out why. We had no clue. My parents and I thought we thought of everything. So one night, I was walking home from babysitting these two adorable little girls who lived in my neighborhood. And because I was babysitting, I was thinking about my favorite book series growing up, which was The Babysitter's Club. So then I was thinking about my favorite character, who was Stacy by a long shot. And then I was thinking about my favorite book about my favorite character from my favorite series. And that's the third book in the Babysitter's Club series. It's The Truth About Stacy. And it's the one where she finally explains to the other girls in the club why she runs home to take medicine sometimes and why she eats different foods at the meetings. And it's because she has type 1 diabetes. And in that book, she explains her symptoms, how she knew what was wrong with her, and what it's like when she gets sick post-diagnosis. Oh, crap. As soon as I connected that book with how I felt, I knew exactly what was wrong. So I ran the rest of the way home. I grabbed this book from my bookshelf. I flipped through it. I went to my parents, and they had the exact same reaction. Oh, crap. So the next morning, I was at the doctor, and I was right. I had type 1 diabetes. So all of a sudden, I'm miserable because I'm 14, and I'm more miserable because all of a sudden, I'm faced with this chronic thing that's never going to go away that makes me inherently different from everybody else in my school. And what's the worst thing you can be when you're a teenager? Different. So I spent all of high school looking for a group of people who get it. And I tried going to support groups, and it was little kids, it was parents, it was older adults. It wasn't teenage girls. And having teenage girls to talk to was so important to me. Nobody wants to talk to the cute 17-year-old boy about what your blood sugar does right before your period. That's weird. That's just weird. So I didn't find any group like this, any group that was teenage girls who get it, who make you be less different. So then I get to college, and I thought, for sure, I'm in Philadelphia. It's a big city. There's going to be something. The closest I found was this kid in my freshman university class who also had type 1 diabetes, but he was convinced he got it because he got abducted by aliens when he was 11. Yeah. Still not the group I was looking for. So my first semester of law school, I'm sitting in a classroom listening to an information session on the Pittsburgh Schweitzer Fellowship Project. And all of a sudden, I see my opportunity to create what I have been looking for. A chance to reach these teenage girls because this was so important to me. Still, all these years, it was like 7 years later, but that's not the point. I was still searching for this group, and it didn't exist. So I was going to make it exist. My role models from 14 on were people like Billie Jean King and Mary Tyler Moore, and later Sonia Sotomayor and UK's new Prime Minister Theresa May. These are like legends. These are untouchable people. These aren't the normal kinds of young women who are actually achieving things in life. This is a Supreme Court justice. I'm never going to be like her. And having that role model was so critical to me that I decided that I needed to be that role model. My life philosophy is be who you needed when you were younger. And I had a chance to be who I needed when I was younger. So I'm still running this program. My first meeting, I had 2 girls. I was thinking, this isn't gonna work. I'm the only person who wants this to exist. What am I doing? But now we've built up to 10, which sounds small, but for that specific of a criteria of being a teenage girl with diabetes, that is a huge number. And we have made a community of these people who the only thing that we have in common is a diagnosis that we got at some point in our lives. It wasn't even the same point. Some of them were diagnosed as babies. Some of them, like me, weren't diagnosed until high school. But we have this place where for a couple hours a week, we get to be exactly what we want to be, which is the same. Thank you.